Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is August 22nd, 2023, and we could expect an official offer pretty soon for Marcos Alonso. Also, it's reported that Abde could ask Barcelona to leave the club during this summer transfer market. And finally, it's reported that Jorge Mendes is still insisting that Barcelona sign Joao Felix. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, it's completely free, and in doing this, you'll be helping this small and humble channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bet, make sure you hit the Bet Us. Both links are down below in the description. Now I'll begin with some positive news, and that is that a new report states that Barcelona are set to lose around 63 million euros because of their move from the Spotify Camp Nou to the Olympic Stadium. Now, as you already know, the Spotify Camp Nou will be closed for this entire season because it's undergoing major renovations under the Espai Barça project, and as a result, Barcelona will play the entire season at the Olympic Stadium at the top of Montjuic. Now, Barcelona are set to lose money because of this move, and it was initially thought that Barcelona would lose around 100 million euros. However, a new report states that Barcelona will lose 63 million euros, and that is the reason why I say that this is positive news. Now, of course, losing 63 million euros is a lot of money for the club, especially in the economic situation that the club currently finds itself. However, it is better to lose 63 million euros rather than those 100 million euros that it was initially anticipated. Now, the reason Barcelona will lose this much money is because the Olympic Stadium has half the capacity of the Spotify Camp Nou. So we expect to see an attendance of around 80,000 people per match go down to 40,000 people per match during this season. And of course, Barcelona have also had to incur a lot of expenses with their move to the Olympic Stadium, where FC Barcelona have had to pay the city of Barcelona rent money in order to use the stadium. They've also had to do major modifications and upgrades to the stadium, including to the pitch itself. And also, Barcelona have had to arrange extra transportation for the fans because people are not allowed to drive their private cars to the top of the mountain, which is called Montjuic. So instead, Barcelona have had to arrange for extra buses and extra public transportation so fans can make it all the way to the top of the mountain in order to visit the Olympic Stadium. Now, Barcelona are transmitting total confidence, and they're not worried about this loss because, of course, this was foreseen ahead of time, and the club have prepared in order to absorb this loss. You know, part of the plan to absorb this loss was the activation of the economic lever, where Barcelona sold 29% of Barca Studios to the German investment fund only a few weeks ago. And also, Barcelona have other things planned ahead in order to generate more income and be able to absorb the loss from this move. Now, just in case Barcelona cannot absorb that entire loss, they do have a plan B, which would be the activation of the economic lever, which is for the sale of BLM, or the Barca licensing and merchandising. Now, as you might recall, last summer, the Barcelona club members voted to approve three economic levers, which were the sale of the 25% of Barca TV rights, the sale of 49% of Barca Studios, and the sale of 49% of BLM. The first two economic levers were activated by Barcelona. However, the club never activated that third economic lever, which is the sale of BLM, because the club considered that there was no need to do it. And they still consider that there's no need to do it. However, just in case Barcelona cannot absorb the total loss from the move from the Spotify Camp Nou to the Olympic Stadium, then Barcelona can activate this economic lever. However, this is an absolute emergency case or a plan B. Barcelona do not plan to activate it. This is only if the club cannot absorb the loss. Now on to the news that Barcelona are planning to begin negotiations for the contract renewal of Fermin Lopez. Now, Fermin Lopez is technically a Barca Athletic player. However, he's currently in first team dynamic, where he's currently exclusively training with the first team, and he's also being called up to both matches in La Liga so far because Xavi Hernandez is very impressed with the player, especially with his performance during the preseason. However, it's reported that Fermin Lopez's contract is set to expire in the summer of 2024, and Barcelona do not want to miss out on this player. Now, since Fermin Lopez's contract is set to expire next summer, that means he will be able to start negotiations with other clubs in January of 2024. And given his explosive performance during the preseason, there's no doubt that there will be plenty of clubs interested in signing the Barcelona player. Now, the good news is that Fermin Lopez wants to stay in Barcelona, and of course Barcelona want to keep the player because they consider him a fundamental piece of the future. And therefore, as soon as the summer transfer market closes, Barcelona will begin negotiations with Fermin Lopez in order to extend the contract of the player. Now, speaking of the summer transfer market, it's reported that Barcelona could be receiving the first official offer for Marcos Alonso. Now, as we've been talking about these past few days, there's been a lot of talks and rumors that Barcelona are considering offloading Marcos Alonso because Xavi Hernandez is not convinced with the player's performance during the preseason, and because Xavi Hernandez considers that keeping Marcos Alonso does not make sense, especially with the arrival of Íñigo Martínez. And Xavi Hernandez also believes that keeping Marcos Alonso is not needed because with the arrival or the imminent arrival of Joao Cancelo, Cancelo could always cover the left back position in case Balde gets injured or needs some rest. And Xavi Hernandez could always employ a line of three defenders, so there's no need to keep Marcos Alonso. Now, it's reported that there's plenty of clubs interested in the Spanish defender, including the Serie A, which Marcos Alonso entourage are completely ruling out because the player has no interest in playing in Italy. However, there are some offers also from the Premier League, or interest from the Premier League, and also from the Saudi Pro League. Now, it's reported that Aston Villa are extremely interested in signing Marcos Alonso, and that could be making an offer pretty soon to Barcelona. And even though Marcos Alonso's entourage denied the player's desire to leave the club, there's been a lot of talk today that Marcos Alonso could end up leaving Barcelona during the final days of the summer transfer market. So definitely stay tuned to the channel because we have some pretty crazy and hectic days ahead of us as the summer transfer market is coming to a close. Now, speaking of players leaving the club, it's reported that Abde could ask Barcelona for an exit during this summer transfer market. Now, even though Abde would prefer to stay in Barcelona, it's reported that since the player does not have a guaranteed starting spot on the first team, that he's considering asking to leave the club during this summer transfer market, especially since Bayer Leverkusen are extremely interested in the player and they're willing to offer Barcelona 20 to 25 million euros for the Moroccan winger, and they're also willing to offer Abde a starting position on their first team. Now, Xavi Hernandez does not want to lose Abde and would prefer that Ferran Torres leave the club before Abde, and he would even prefer Ansu Fati to leave the club before Abde does. However, if Abde does ask for an exit during this summer transfer market, Barcelona would be forced to approve that request because after all, neither Ferran Torres nor Ansu Fati are willing to leave. And of course, when players request an exit, the clubs usually grant those requests because you definitely don't want to keep a player on your team who doesn't want to be there. And this has not been confirmed by the player or his entourage. This is FC Barcelona's sensation or feeling. They feel that Abde could be asking for an exit in the upcoming days. But of course, if things can change and Xavi Hernandez could end up convincing Abde to stay, or maybe Abde does end up changing his mind and decide to stay in Barcelona and fight for his spot. So we are going to have to wait and see what happens. So definitely stay tuned to the channel because as I've said before, there's going to be some pretty hectic and crazy day ahead of us as the summer transfer market winds down. Now, speaking of hectic days ahead of us, it's reported that Jorge Mendes is still insisting that Barcelona sign Joao Felix. Now, Felix is looking to leave Atletico Madrid and he is pressuring Atletico Madrid to allow him to leave to Barcelona and Barcelona only. And so far, Atletico Madrid are open to Joao Felix joining Barcelona on loan for a transfer fee around 8 to 9 million euros, with Barcelona covering the entire salary of the player. Now, Barcelona would like to sign Joao Felix as kind of a marketing signing or a high-profile signing. However, since he's not a priority and Xavi Hernandez would prefer not to have the player on his squad, Barcelona are not in a hurry to make any offers to the Madrid-based club, and instead they've decided to wait until the final days of the summer transfer market to see whether Atletico Madrid end up getting desperate and relaxing their stance even further, because after all, it is Atletico Madrid's problem to get rid of Joao Felix, and it's not Barcelona's problem. Now, it's reported that Joao Felix's agent, Jorge Mendes, is still pressuring Barcelona or insisting that Barcelona sign his player. And for now, Barcelona think that they are covered as far as their attacking line, because Barcelona do have 6 attackers with Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Abde, Ansu Fati, and Ferran Torres. So the club consider that they don't need any more attackers. However, if Abde does end up requesting to leave the club during the summer transfer market and he does end up leaving, then Barcelona would have space for one more attacker. And that's when Barcelona could end up trying to sign Joao Felix. So again, stay tuned to the channel because we're gonna have some crazy day ahead of us. Now, speaking of attackers, a lot of you have left comments on my video saying that Barcelona should consider signing Mohamed Kudus. And well, I'm here to tell you that Barcelona, in fact, did try to sign the player during this summer transfer market. Now, for those of you who don't know who Mohamed Kudus is, he's a Ghanaian 23-year-old attacking midfielder who can also play on the right wing and as a center forward. And he gained a lot of prominence during the World Cup with some impressive performances during the international competition. And it's reported that Barcelona attempted to sign the player during this summer transfer market. Now, it seems that Jordi Cruyff recommended Mohamed Kudus last summer in 2023. However, Barcelona decided not to try to sign the player because they placed their trust in Ousmane Dembélé. However, once Ousmane Dembélé left, then Barcelona attempted to sign Mohamed Kudus during this summer transfer market, and they made an offer to his current club Ajax, where Barcelona offered a fixed amount of a fixed payment that they would pay right now, with the remainder of the transfer fee being paid over installments. Now, Ajax values Mohamed Kudus around 40 to 50 million euros, and it's reported that they rejected Barcelona's offer because they had cash offers that were much higher than Barcelona's from other clubs, and therefore Barcelona were unable to sign the Ghanaian attacker. Now, it's reported that despite so much interest from other European clubs, that Ajax are working really hard on keeping the player in their team because they consider him a very important piece of their project. And given this decision by Ajax to keep Mohamed Kudus, this is giving Barcelona the confidence that they could end up signing him in the future. Because after all, if Mohamed Kudus signs for someone else right now, he's going to be signing a long contract, which prevents Barcelona from signing him in the future. But if he stays in Ajax, that means that Barcelona have a chance to approach the player next summer transfer market and see whether there's any chance of signing him. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.